We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity.
We know the air is unfit to breathe and our food is unfit to eat. As if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy.
Silence! The great and powerful Oz knows why you have come.
You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it! My life has value.
You have meddled with the primal forces of nature.
Don't give yourselves to brutes. Men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, or what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men with machine minds and machine hearts.
It's time to buckle up for making sense of the madness.
And who loves you? And who do you love?
Hey everybody, Jason Bermas here. And while most in the quote-unquote alternative media and really the mainstream are going to be covering the aspect that it appears the government will in fact reopen. We have now had a Senate vote which will now move to the House, and it does look like the votes are there to end the government shutdown. Now, there's a multitude of things I could and I would be saying about it had I not tuned in, because I wanted to get exactly what was going on correct, and saw Rand Paul mention something I was completely unaware of in this bill. Now, you're going to have to decide for yourself on whether or not Rand Paul is being, I guess, overly exaggeratory towards this, or if this is indeed a loophole which could destroy the very hemp/marijuana industry that has begun to thrive in this country in a majority of states. And as an advocate of not the legalization and massive taxation of marijuana, but the decriminalization of marijuana for those 18 years of age or older, I think that it's actually going to be utilized in a different way than Rand Paul describes. So we've got a video, and this took place maybe a couple hours ago. I'm not even sure if it was 2 hours ago, just around there, when the votes were coming in, and Rand Paul stood up and he gave his side of the story, basically reading the language, which I think will eventually be utilized for selective enforcement, if you will. And we'll get to that in a moment. But then there's another gentleman that comes on. He advocates for Paul, and Mitch McConnell comes in and says everything is okay. Spoiler alert, even though we're going to show this to you, the amendment that Rand Paul tried to put forth did not pass. So now we're going to have to look to his dire warning if, in fact, it does come true. Now, I do want to address this right out of the gates, okay, because this is the Mitch McConnell position. He's talking about many of the unregulated things that are now sold in gas stations. And look, I've certainly seen an explosion, if you will, in THC, quote unquote, A products in places, for instance, North Carolina, and THCA is also being sold across borders, basically to, I think, all 50 states. It almost blows the mind. But I want competition in this field. And if you, again, are 18 or above, I don't really care. The Delta 8, the Delta 9 stuff, I don't want children getting any of this. And sure, it is way more widely available, just like it was more available for beer in stores, right? After Prohibition. It's just a fact. Personally, when we are talking about even alcohol or any kind of substance, I believe that, first of all, the alcohol thing, 21, well, if you're going to send me overseas to carry a gun and kill other people, I kind of think that that's the age range, right? If that's the age we've decided, 18, that should be the age across the board. But, I've seen just in the past, decade or so, tobacco products move from 18 to 21 years old. Has that had their usage decline? No. I mean, there's been a movement from traditional cigarettes into the vaping phenomenon, but that's about it. So the way that this is worded, this bill, I think is a way to further control the hemp industry. I don't think that they are trying to actually do what they say they're going to do. I don't think they're going to regulate everyone, but I think this is bad news brown for prices and actual competition. For instance, if you look at what Whitmer just did, and Whitmer's being sued for this, Whitmer signed an executive order to try to, I believe, and we might do it live, place a 20+% more tax on marijuana sales. And one of the things in Michigan is it is so abundant and the taxes are so low in comparison, you have people coming in from out of state. Now, look, the bottom line is the states are regulating it in the way they wish. The federal government should get on board with deregulation, not more regulation, and should really only be concerned with its usage with those under 18 years of age, in my opinion. You want to talk about DUIs and all these other things, that's a different story, altogether. I think sobriety tests in many cases are important, but then you also clearly have the studies and the examples, and even CNN did stories on this, of people that, smoke marijuana on a regular basis. They're able to drive much better than, say, somebody who drinks on a regular basis. The alcohol thing is different for quote-unquote habitual users. And then on top of that, you do have the medicinary value, not only of CBD, in my opinion, but also THC. Okay? So we're going to play it all here for you. I need you to thumbs it up, subscribe, and share. I want to remind everybody, we are remonetized, but I still need your support. And remember, we do read all super chats on the air. $5, $10, $15. It means the world to me. Big donors, we could use your support. There's also a PayPal in the link below. I want to tell you about Marigold Resources, marigoldresources.com. They buy and sell businesses. If you might be in that market or you want somebody to look at some of the paperwork, maybe in a business deal, they've got you covered. My man McGreevy also runs the River Cities Reader, rcreader.com. Currently has an interesting piece on G. Gordon Liddy, the fixer, if you will. You might want to check that out. And hey, give me a follow on X, right? We lost 3 followers since we asked earlier today on a previous broadcast, so it wouldn't hurt to follow me or not. So here we are. The Senate has approved a bill to end the shutdown, sending it to the House. And again, it looks like they have the votes. It looks like it's finally going to happen. Personally, for me, I haven't cared that much. I'm not on the government dole. I'm not a bureaucrat. I'm not on benefits. And just luckily, in the past month or so, when it's heated up over at the airport, when things have started to get canceled, I'm not planning on traveling. And by the way, me, if I can travel via driving, I'd much rather do that. But here it is. Senate rejects Paul's hemp pitch. You're going to see that pitch in a minute. 76 lawmakers voted to block the Kentucky Republicans' effort to strip language that he argues will destroy the hemp industry. So without further ado, I am going to jump into Rand Paul, and I'm going to let him speak for himself. Then I'm going to give my summation of what he just said.
Senator from Kentucky. And I ask order in the chamber while the senator is speaking, please. Instead of a clean CR, this bill contains language that has been airdropped in that will destroy hemp farming in Kentucky and across the United States. Tucked away on page 163, Title VII, Division B of this spending package is a provision that will shut down the hemp industry across the United States. My amendment would strip the provision designed to regulate the hemp industry to death. The bill, as it now stands, overrides the regulatory frameworks of several states, cancels the collective decisions of hemp consumers, and destroys the livelihoods of hemp farmers. And it couldn't come at a worse time for America's farmers. Times are tough for our farmers. Farmers' costs have increased as the price of fertilizer and machinery have jumped, while prices for their crops like soybean, corn, and wheat have declined. For many farmers, hemp has proved to be a lifeline, a new cash crop. Farmers turn to growing hemp to mitigate the losses they've endured during this season of hardship. But that lifeline may soon be extinguished by this very legislation. The effective hemp ban included in this spending package is a result, we are told, of bad actors skirting the legal limits by overly enhancing the concentration of THC in their products. The hemp industry, myself and others, have come together and we have been willing to negotiate to get rid of the bad actors. And yet, instead, we are met with legislation that would be prohibition. Members of the industry, myself and others who are advocates of this, have been willing to get rid of synthetic cannabinoids. We have been willing to compromise at every turn, but we're met with the numbers in this bill which will eradicate the hemp industry. For the last several weeks, we've offered proposals with the goal of creating an environment in which the hemp industry could thrive and sell products. And we've been met with those who want to prohibit the industry from continuing. This bill's per-serving THC content limit would make illegal any hemp product that contains more than 0.4 milligrams. That would be nearly 100% of the existing market. The numbers put forward in this bill will eliminate 100% of the hemp products in our country. That amounts to an effective ban because the limit is so low that the products intended to manage pain or anxiety will lose their effect. The states have done what they're supposed to. The states have instituted laws. 23 states have instituted laws on hemp. None of them have limits anywhere close to what is being proposed in this bill. So what will happen is most of the things that your states have regulated, are regulating, and have made legal will be made illegal by this bill. This bill will effectively preempt and nullify all state laws concerning hemp. Currently, Maine limits THC to 3 milligrams per serving. That will be overruled. My home state limits THC to 5 milligrams in beverages. That will be overruled. Minnesota, Utah, Louisiana also have 5 milligrams per serving. Alabama and Georgia have 10 milligrams. Tennessee has 15 milligrams. The bill before us nullifies all these state laws and makes the hemp industry kaput. The language in this bill will outlaw all current hemp plants and seeds. It changes the definition of what a hemp plant is. It makes it so low that there may not even be an existing plant that can meet the parameters. But every plant in the country will have to be destroyed. Every hemp seed in the country will have to be destroyed. This is the most thoughtless, ignorant proposal to an industry that I've seen in a long, long time. The states have made progress, and more progress was coming. Most states have age limits. To add insult to injury, we are given this legislation in an appropriation bills. We have Senate rules against this. So I would recommend that we vote for this amendment, and my amendment would strip out the language, and I would like to transfer the remainder of my time to Senator Merkley.
Now, we're going to get to him in a moment. But I do want to point out numbers here. Again, 0.4 milligram is going to cut everything out. Just the fact that he was saying the 10, the 15 milligram limit. Let me give you a real example of like New York State, California, Nevada, Vegas in particular, and then Michigan. First of all, each unit that you buy is 200 milligrams, I believe, max in a full serving. Okay? And many of those are broken into just 4 pieces. So 50 milligram pieces. And in places, such as like Michigan, you can do 10 of those per transaction, maybe even 20 of those per transaction, which I have absolutely no problem with. So again, I think that what you're going to see is selective enforcement. I think you're going to see more crony capitalism, and I think that you're going to see the states and the federal government actually working together to move out those that would challenge a monopoly of tyrants, really, on this matter. And now, again, it's up to you to go read this bill and see whether or not you agree with Rand Paul and his assessment that it's totally going to decimate it. But I have a funny feeling, once again, this is going to be utilized for selective enforcement. Let's let this next gentleman speak, and then the eternal turtle, if you will, Mitch McConnell, who I can't believe is speaking on the Senate floor, or speaking at all at this point. I mean, the man is ancient. But let's continue.
Mr. President, thank you very much.
Before I recognize the senator from Oregon, I know it's late, but if everybody could take their conversations off the floor and give the respect to the speaker, please. I recognize the senator from Oregon.
Thank you, Mr. President. I really ask my colleagues, particularly on this side, to hear me out on this. The senators from Kentucky and Oregon cooperated to create the first research on hemp. We cooperated to give the first opportunity to move research seeds across state lines. We cooperated and pushed to create hemp as a legitimate agricultural product. CBD derived from hemp has been approved by the FDA for treating seizures. It is a legal medicine. We would wipe out an industry that we have spent more than a decade creating. Now, the advocates for this language that's in the bill will tell you this won't affect CBD. Every expert I've consulted has said that is exactly wrong.
And that's the other loophole in this. I mean, the amount of CBD products out there that aren't there to, quote unquote, get you high, but almost for the vast majority of people that don't have the chronic pain, et cetera, act almost as like a melatonin type product. Want to regulate that too. Government wants they money.
That this will, in fact, wipe out 95 to 99% of the industry. My colleague from Kentucky is exactly right. We asked our farmers to engage in this research. We asked them to build this industry. We should protect it for CBD. I support my other colleague from Kentucky who doesn't want intoxicated products produced from hemp. But the definition that is in this bill does far more than that, and it has to be fixed. So for now, it needs to be stripped out. Please support Senator Paul's position.
Mr. President.
Now, before we get to Mitch McConnell, we do have a super chat. I want to read it right now. John Griggs, thank you so much for supporting the broadcast, first off. Thanks for reporting this, Jason. This is awful as a Kentuckian, and my PTSD gets so much help from the Delta 9 10 milligram gummies. We have no dispensaries in Kentucky. And that's the other thing, right? I'm all for regulation on this. Just like, we regulate with liquor license. However, it should be a fair playing field. And I'm telling you, competition lowers prices, and it actually makes a better product on the high end and gives you also on the lower end a better product because everything is in competition. And by the way, John, and actually I think I can go to you really quickly. Here he is right here. You're not the only one I've heard this from, not just on the Delta 9 stuff, but gummies in general, right? There's the hybrids, the indicas, the sativas. I know there's a lot of people out there that, are talking about not only the THC content or the conversion content, but the terpenes that are in these types of marijuana. Look, if this is something that helps you get through your day-to-day, I think it is so much less detrimental, if you will, than the psychotropic drugs that they try to push, the big pharma stuff that they try to push. And by the way, although like in Illinois, here's a price difference. You could be paying literally, it's usually $20 plus tax and whatever for that 200 milligram bag that we talked about, usually in 10 milligram clips, sometimes in 20 milligram clips, 10 of them in a bag. In Michigan, you know, the same thing isn't 20, it's like $2.50 if you buy in bulk in some of them. I mean, some of them get up to that price. You know, not everything is that cheap, but like on the low end, $2.50 a pack. Like Vegas, edibles, the same kind of thing. So you want competition in this field. But here we go. Let's hear the other side of the coin. Let's hear from Mitch McConnell, establishment politician that everybody loves.
I recognize the senator from Kentucky.
The language I helped secure in the Agriculture Appropriations Bill addresses a serious concern regarding the manufacturing and selling of unregulated, intoxicating THC products nationwide. I led the effort to legalize industrial hemp through the 2014 pilot program and the 2018 Farm Bill. Unfortunately, companies have exploited a loophole in the 2018 legislation by taking legal amounts of THC from hemp and turning it into intoxicating substances and then marketing it to children in candy-like packaging and selling it easily accessible places like gas stations and convenience stores all across our country. So children end up being the unknowing consuming of these poisonous products.
All right, let's stop. Children, poisonous products. You can say what you want about like the vaping industry, but if it's, you know, even the alcohol industry at this point, like tobacco and that, they have absolutely targeted the youth with their sweet tooth. Okay? I mean, how many people now, I still haven't had a seltzer. I refuse, damn it. I haven't had a White Claw. I haven't had a, what's the other big one? There's another one. I see that's how little I drink these things. You know, like I don't. I see them everywhere though. I get it for women, but you notice like my generation, my parents' generation, we didn't take to Zima, or we didn't take to Bartles and James, right? Wine coolers at the time. It was always kind of like a female thing. But now, dudes are popping. And I think a lot of it's sugar addiction, right? But you know, the idea that these products are targeted towards children, yeah, I think is you know, it's part of the game, but it's no more so than what I just mentioned. Again, why is Mitch McConnell still in government?
And being sent to the hospital at an alarming rate. My efforts to close the loophole and stop this from happening are included in this appropriations package. It will keep these dangerous products out of the hands of children while preserving the hemp industry for farmers. Industrial hemp and CBD will remain legal for industrial applications such as seed, stock, fiber, grain oil, or used in drug trials. This language merely classifies the original intent of the 2018 Farm Bill, rooting out the bad actors and protecting the growing hemp industry. While some may masquerade as advocates for hemp farmers, even sometimes threatening to hold up government funding over this issue, I'll continue to work on behalf of Kentucky's farmers while protecting our children, not only in my state, but in yours as well. I would urge my colleagues to do the same. Therefore, I move to table Senate Amendment 3941 and ask for the ayes.
Look at this, like the weird smirkle look on the guy next to him, probably his staff. He's like, Mitch got through it. It's for the children. It's for the children. Now, I'm going to say it again, okay? And then we're going to wrap this one up. Thumbs it up on the way out. Subscribe, share. If you are watching live or after the fact, give a comment down below, not just in the chat. It does help the algorithm, helps this message get out there. And again, who's covering this? I haven't seen this really covered anywhere. I don't trust Mitch McConnell. I trust Rand Paul much more. I don't know if it's the complete destruction, but I think it's the devastation, if you will, of the many open and freer markets, because there's always going to be some regulation, competitive markets, state to state. All right, and that's what this is really going to do. It's going to create more and more of a sense of crony capitalism and monopolies in this field. That's just my take. I don't think it's a good thing. Honestly, I hope Rand Paul is wrong on this one, but in general, he doesn't go far enough most of the time. Most of the time, he's not exaggerating the subject, so it is what it is. Folks, I need your support. $5, $10, $15. I could use it. Bigger donations, please, please, please. The Buy Me a Coffee link is right there. We also have the PayPal down below. I do want to thank for the Super Chat and those that give like stickers and stuff after the fact. Continue to support the broadcast. As you guys know, it is not about left or right to me, this issue. So, again, was I talking conservatives, liberals, Republicans, Democrats? I get it. We're on the Senate floor. We're in D.C. It's as like generally political as it gets. Not a right or left issue. Always about right and wrong. I absolutely love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you all on the flip side.